Women in hip-hop are like buses, not in the sense that they're large and difficult to handle, but because it felt like we waited ages for one to come along and suddenly there were two. Nicki Minaj managed to successfully occupy the crown of New York hip-hop queen for so long, it was only a matter of time before somebody else came along to try and get in on that finesse. When Cardi B first came on the scene, she did look a little bit like a Nicki Minaj clone. A tough female New Yorker, she sings and raps, and she has a penchant for terrible outfits. For a minute, I thought I was seeing double, and there were 4 Nicki Minaj's. Ultimately, there's not a lot of women in hip-hop, and those that finally do break through have a tough time maintaining the top spot. So you'd think that once Nicki and Cardi broke through that glass ceiling, they would do whatever it took to work together, keep elevating the culture, and make the hip-hop scene a much more friendly place for female MCs to come up. Nah. What actually ended up happening between these two was one of the most petty schoolyard fights I'd ever seen, since 2 girls from my school had a fist fight by the bike sheds over a stolen crate of Smirnoff Ice. In fact, this whole beef came to a head in an explosive scene at New York Fashion Week where Cardi B pulled up on Nicki Minaj ready to throw those hands. That fight ended up getting blocked by Nicki's security and led to Cardi making the second most iconic shoe throw in history right after that dude stood up and pinged it with vision at George Bush. So, how did we get here? Well, apparently the whole thing started when a screenshot emerged that Nicki Minaj had liked a negative comment dissing Cardi B's freestyling skills on Instagram. Some social media users have pointed out that this screenshot is probably fake, though Cardi B has never specifically addressed this incident, but it appears that this was the nucleus of the entire beef. Later that year, female rapper, Terror Squad member, and the last person you ever want to cut in line in front of at a Domino's restaurant, Remy Ma, released a diss track dissing Nicki Minaj called Sheetha. She had some pretty harsh words for Nicki, and some of the highlights included saying that Nicki's butt implants had gone wrong, and that's why she wasn't seen in public for 3 months and couldn't hook up with Meek Mill. Now, this diss wasn't completely unprovoked. It had been assumed that Nicki was dissing Remy on her track Swallow and Make Love. Now, the Nicki Minaj-Remy beef is a whole other kettle of fish, and if you do want to know more about that, let me know in the comments because I could do a separate video on it. But for now, let's just stick with how this impacted the beef between Nicki and Cardi. Following the release of Sheetha, Remy Ma and Fat Joe appeared together on the Wendy Williams show looking like a couple one car argument away from divorce. In that appearance, she wore a funeral outfit which was supposed to represent her having killed Nicki Minaj's career.
My grandmother told me to never speak ill of the dead.
Nicki's response was short and sweet, and all she had to do to address this beef was share the abysmal sales figures of Remy Ma and Fat Joe's Plata Promo album. That album only moved around 11,000 units and only hit 48 on the Billboard charts. Ooh. But it was in June of 2017 when this started overlapping with the Cardi B relationship, because at the Hot 97 Summer Jam concert, Remy Ma appeared on stage with a lot of other rappers and performed her song Sheetha. And not long after that, she brought out Cardi B. And Cardi B's appearance alongside Remy Ma at this show, so close to this Sheetha song that was dissing Nicki Minaj, Nicki felt like this whole thing was a personal slight towards her. It's only a few days after this that Cardi drops the massive song Bodak Yellow, aka Money Moves. As you may already know, this song ended up becoming the second time ever that a female rapper had got a solo hit at #1 on the Billboard charts. And Nicki Minaj even tweeted to congratulate Cardi. So at this point, it doesn't necessarily look like there's too much beef simmering. Following this incident, Nicki Minaj appeared on the song No Flag with fellow Migos member, Cardi B's boyfriend, and ninja that won the lottery, Offset. Nicki dropped some lines on this song that were interpreted as a Cardi B diss, potentially suggesting that she was a clone of Nicki. However, not long after the song dropped, Nicki Minaj denied that this was a Cardi B diss, saying that she'd actually wrote this song months ago and it had nothing to do with her. But not long after that, Cardi B is getting interviewed on the carpet at the VMAs, where somebody brings up the topic of industry beefs, and she says she doesn't get involved in that stuff, but she will get it popping with these hands.
Somebody got a problem with me, I don't really gotta do that whole industry beef, like, you know, like I get it popping with these hands, the Mack trucks.
Damn, that's gangster. A few weeks after this, Cardi B appeared on the song No Limit with G-Eazy. In that song, she said, "Stop with the subs, cause I ain't Jared." This is of course a reference to the legendary Subway mascot Jared Fogle, who was able to lose 200 pounds by eating Subway and all of his credibility by diddling kids. Cardi B was pressed on this potential sneak diss in her later Breakfast Club interview, but she offered a pretty feeble excuse, saying that actually this was just a reference to girls that she was still beefing from the hood.
On the G-Eazy record, you say, "Can you stop with all the subs? Bitch, I ain't Jared." Who was that directed toward?
Oh, well, you know what I'm saying? There's the thing that people don't understand, though. That I got like beef with 10 bitches still in the hood, and I still be in the hood.
This seems to do the trick, and a few weeks after this, we see Nicki congratulating Cardi for her #1 on Twitter. You can't really tell from reading it whether it's a genuine congratulations or the kind of underhanded congratulations that you have to give to a rival that is surpassing you so you don't look too salty. Well, Cardi seemed to take this as genuine and sent her own reply a day later. But once we get to around October, that beef starts to simmer a little more. The song MotorSport, which features all of the Migos as well as Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, finally drops, and of course, it's a certified banger. But only a day later, internet commentator and sofa masturbator DJ Academics starts circulating a story suggesting that Nicki Minaj had no idea that this song was coming out and allegedly was fuming about being finessed by Cardi and her label. He also said that apparently Cardi had pulled strings in order to get Nicki Minaj to change her verse in order to take out a line that she felt was subliminally dissing her.
Allegedly, she ain't know she had a record coming out with Cardi B until the shit came out, or until rumors came out like a couple hours before it came out saying there was a record that was coming out, okay?
Interestingly, Nicki didn't promote the song or acknowledge its existence at all. Only a week later does Nicki tweet some stuff about the song which seems to suggest that there was confusion about its release, only to delete those tweets later. A month after that, in November, Cardi acknowledges in a kind of underhanded way that Nicki's verse on the song indeed did actually change and that Cardi had only got involved in the song after Nicki was already on it.
When I heard the track,
Right.
her verse was in Finnish. Well, it's not the verse that is on right now.
Now, this is the calm before the storm. A few months go by, nothing really happens as we roll into 2018, and it's in April that the beef starts to pick up again. Initially, things look all gravy, and Cardi, in an appearance on Beats Radio, suggests that she has no beef with Nicki.
Is there something between you and Nicki, or is that just internet made up?
I just feel like it's really internet made up.
A week after that, Nicki appears on Beats One and suggests that Cardi did what she was supposed to do, but also drops some shade by essentially accusing her of lying about the whole narrative of what happened when she was forced to change her verse on that song, Motorsport.
The first interview she did after Motorsport came out, it just really hurt me. The only thing she kept saying was, oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that verse. I didn't hear that verse. She changed her verse. Like, I was like, what?
Next month at the Met Gala, they're spotted together having a chat in terrible outfits, having been brought together by designer of disgraceful shoes, Jeremy Scott. 2 days later, when Nicki is speaking on her Queen radio show, she offers some harsh words for Cardi, suggesting that maybe she shouldn't be so sensitive to criticism. Nicki continues to bury the hatchet, and it's around this time that it becomes publicly known that Cardi B is expecting a little Migo of her own. So Nicki decides to do the right thing and send her a $5,000 gift basket of baby goods. Now, I couldn't actually find specifically what gifts Nicki sent to Cardi for the baby, but after doing a little bit of research and knowing a little bit about Cardi B's ongoing associations with the Blood Gang, I can only pray that it was this charming Bompton baby grow. I'm sure Soulja Boy would be pleased. However, no amount of Bompton baby grows seemed to be able to smooth this thing over. And over the course of the next month, Nicki Minaj does several different interviews with different high-profile people in the media, including ex-funny man Stephen Colbert, and that person in the office that everybody hates but always seems to get the promotion, Ebro. During a live stream chat with Ebro, Nicki seems to admit that she knows that Cardi has a problem with her, but she doesn't suggest that the beef is going any further.
I didn't know Cardi and I had an issue, but I guess we do, since you're saying it, and other people are saying it. To me, she may have taken an issue with things that I've said, but I'm not going to bite my tongue.
But in her classic sideways fashion, Cardi B claps back on Twitter saying that she has been blocked by Nicki Minaj on all social media. So it's following these comments at New York Fashion Week when it goes down. Now apparently, Cardi approached Nicki Minaj at the event to confront her about alleged comments that Nicki had made on social media about Cardi not being able to take care of her kid. Now I couldn't actually find any proof of that comment being made, but luckily there is footage of this incident floating around on the internet. As Cardi was approaching Nicki, she was given a Bodak elbow by Nicki's security. After this, as you can see, a shouting match broke out between the two groups. Security were trying to separate them, and then came the legendary moment when Cardi B threw a shoe at Nicki Minaj. Luckily, Cardi's throwing arm wasn't too strong, otherwise that would have been a bloody shoe. The next day, Cardi dropped a very mature response to this incident on her Instagram. It didn't offer any new information, but it did reaffirm the suggestion that the confrontation had happened because Cardi was upset about comments made about her ability to look after her child. She also suggested in that message that Nicki Minaj had been trying to stop her bag, which basically means mess with her money. Nicki went on to address this incident on her Beats One radio show, suggesting that actually it was her close friend, former Love and Hip Hop star and talentless hanger-on, Ra Ali, who had actually beaten up Cardi B at this event.
Ra beat you so bad that I was mad at Ra. Ra held her head and punched her like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 times, and I could hear it, and it was like I'm talking about the hardest punches you've ever heard in your life.
And just to add a little bit more salt on top of an already very salty dish, Nicki Minaj decides to address the comments that Cardi B made suggesting that Nicki had been trying to stop her bag by releasing these actually pretty decent backpacks on her online merch store that say, "Nicki, stop my bag." I'm not gonna lie, I think that's hilarious and I actually would rock one of these. So whilst the dust is settling on that original shoe throw, a few other little pieces of drama go on around this that aren't really that important but are quite amusing. One extra tidbit relates to Cardi's sister Hennessy. Yes, her name's Hennessy, and yes, Cardi's name does come from Cardi, but not a lot of people know that they actually have a half-British brother who is named Special Brew. But anyway, Hennessy accused that same woman who Nicki said had beaten up Cardi at the event, Ra Ali, of leaking Cardi's phone number onto the internet. This is interesting because it's also part of a wider pattern of behavior that apparently Nicki Minaj is known for setting her fans onto people she doesn't like. So after all this, we get to the final act and the Nicki Minaj-Cardi beef peaks when Cardi B goes on a 10-video epic Instagram rant addressing all of the stuff that's gone down.
You lie so much you can't even keep up with your fucking lies.
Now she says a lot of stuff in these videos, but let me summarize the main points for you. 1, she says that she is down to throw hands with Cardi in person. 2, she denies an allegation that Nicki keeps making over and over again that Cardi has been paying radio stations to play her songs. And 3, she categorically denies the suggestion that Ra Ali beat her up at that event.
You know where to link me. We could always link up. You know who to reach out. You know, we could settle it however you want to settle it. We could talk about it or we could fight it out. I'm with whatever.
But essentially, she ends the video by saying she's tired of the whole beef, a sentiment that seems to be shared by the fans as well as Nicki Minaj herself. Nicki kinda clapped back after this, suggesting that Cardi was lying, but also making an offer for her to appear on her Queen radio show, and that kind of is where the beef dies out. That chat obviously never happened, and a few months went by and there wasn't a lot of activity in this beef. Interestingly, in February of 2019, BET actually got involved in this beef and made a tweet which both congratulated Cardi on winning an award, but at the same time adding the caption that threw shade on Nicki, saying, "Meanwhile, Nicki is being dragged by her lace front." In response to this, Nicki Minaj immediately cancelled her and Young Money's appearance at a BET event, and BET were forced to apologize. But interestingly, the day after this, Cardi was ranting on social media and actually seemed to kind of take sides with Nicki, suggesting that BET were out of order for ever making this comment.
It's not my style for people to put other people down to uplift somebody else. That's not my style and that's not what I'm with, and I don't support that.
So after all that seems to be where the beef has ended up. In a beef that went from 0 to 100 back to 0 so quick and so many times, it does raise a lot of questions about the relationship between Cardi and Nicki. This intense rivalry has really captured the attention of the fans, and it does make you think, was some of it staged? Could potentially some of these beefs or some aspect of these arguments have started as publicity stunts that then bled into real life beefs? On the other hand, a lot of people on the internet have suggested that the kind of bear poking that BET and other fans had been engaged in social media just essentially served to escalate this beef and make all of the little random goings on be perceived as slights between Cardi and Nicki, and essentially stoking a beef where there actually was no drama to begin with. When you keep in mind that many of the catalysts of this beef, such as that initial comment that was supposedly liked by Nicki dissing Cardi B's freestyle, could have essentially have been completely fabricated. A lot of the comments and a lot of the stuff that relates to this beef has now been deleted from social media. So it's highly possible that fans and trolls on the internet have been coming up with fake stuff to just try and make these two pit against each other and cause drama. Me personally, I find that pretty unbelievable. Almost as unbelievable some of these comments that Drake has been leaving on R. Kelly's content. Hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you like and subscribe below. Please hit the notification bell so you can see every time I upload. Also, if you've been liking my content, I definitely recommend you go and check out my Patreon account. I've got some really cool benefits and great opportunities for anybody that's supporting me to see old videos from my catalog that aren't on YouTube anymore, to hear some of the music that I listen to whilst I'm actually creating these videos, and the opportunity to vote on the future video ideas. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, peace out.